Welcome back, everybody. So today we are outside of all places, not an obvious spot for a home theater related channel, but we're installing this Magna Polly in the backyard so that when we cook out back here, we have some music. Now, we don't have a really good spot to install this, but we're going to take this guy and drop it right down in this big hole that we've been digging. I pressed Drake the producer into service, and we are putting this thing in here. Now, we chose this spot because the rainwater obviously runs right into it. No, we're going to redirect this spout that way so that the drainage goes over there. But we do have all this rock, and we'll be able to run some wiring underneath this up to power on the wall there. So it's a little bit easier than trying to maybe, say, put it over there where we have to go underneath the grass and all this other stuff. So we're going to keep it on this side and put it here. So this is a 360 degree dispersion speaker. There are 3 mid-range tweeters here, and then this big box, which gets buried, has a subwoofer in it. You've got LED lighting and speaker wire, and hopefully it's going to work out pretty well, but we'll see. So follow along with us as we set this thing up.
Now let's talk about the specifications of the Polly by Magna. I've got the specifications document pulled up, a PDF that I downloaded from their site. We start out with a nice image, and then we get down to the good stuff. So, this is a buried installation, meaning the big box at the bottom with the 10-inch subwoofer gets buried. It's used for outdoor, obviously. The subwoofer is a 4th order bandpass design seal. So it's a sealed box firing into what amounts to a ported box. There are 2 different models. There's a 360-degree model and a 240-degree model. In the 360-degree model, there are 3 sets of 2 mid-range / tweeters at 120 degrees apart for that 360 spread. In the 240 degrees model, you only get 2 of those pairs of 2 speakers firing out toward the front. So this gives you placement options and a lower cost option if you're going to push one up against a wall and you really don't need to broadcast sound to the rear. You can see the impedance here. So you need amplification capable of doing at least 4 ohms for both the sub, and then 8 or 5.3 ohms for the mids / tweets. Goes down to about 39 hertz and has a sensitivity of 91 decibels. Now there's lighting here at the bottom. There's a separate lead for that, and we'll show that during installation. It's pretty easy to set up, but you will need to come up with a 12 volt, 3 amp power supply for that lighting. You can use a always on, or you can use a dimmable model for that. Colors, you can see there are a plethora of colors here across the bottom. I thought the one I had was brown. I think this one is actually the brown one. Mine's a little bit redder, which is a very nice color. It really pops outdoors.
The physical installation of a Polly is pretty straightforward. You dig a hole deep enough to bury the big rectangular base, which is the subwoofer, and then you just need to run cabling to the Polly and then connect all of your cabling up. So here's a quick look at some of the physical install, and then we'll talk through the actual cabling.
All right, we've got this in the dirt now, and you can see that we've kind of angled, this is 360, but we've kind of angled the front back toward the patio. Now, there are 2 cables coming out, right? So you've got a subwoofer and mids highs, and then you've got 12 volt for the LED lights down here. Now, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to move all of this landscaping cloth back, put some rocks back down, and then we're going to work on taking these cables all the way back to our power. We've got a box coming that we're going to put on the patio for electronics, and we'll show that step next.
We didn't want to actually run the cabling inside of the house, so we elected to keep all of our electronics outside on the patio. So we bought a cheap deck box, patio box, and we're going to shove everything in there. So the wiring from the speaker comes up to this patio deck box. I have some wire glands that the wires use to penetrate through into the box, and then all the electronics will go in there. And when we actually want to turn this on, we'll just open the top and then string some power over and plug into the outside wall. That way we can use Wi-Fi to stream music to the stack of technology that then powers the speaker. speaker. To finish off the installation, we need some electronics. So as I said before, you need a power supply for the LED lights, and you can grab one of those from Amazon. They're pretty cheap. But then you also need 2 amplifiers and then some way to get source material into the system, right? So you need a amplifier for the mids and highs, you need something that can do a crossover, and then you need an amplifier for the subwoofer. I chose to use stuff I had on the rack here at home, so I'm using a VSSL Vessel A.1X streamer amplifier, and that will do the one channel of the mids and tweets. This also has a setting that allows it to take one channel and do everything mono, so I don't lose left, right. I can just dump all of it down the one channel. I can't bridge the amplification, so I've got half an amplifier not used, but you know, it is what it is. And then on the subwoofer side, I use the sub out from that VSSL, that Vessel, to a Fosse Audio TB10D that I had sitting around, and I use 1/2 of that to power the subwoofer. And all in all, it worked out pretty darn well for an additional investment of $0 since I already had the gear. There are better, more eloquent solutions, but this is the one that we've got here.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know, about to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions, we'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the installation of the Magna Polly. It's actually pretty straightforward once you get over the whole, I have to dig a hole and plant this thing outside. You know, I just pumped it up and it sounds really, really, really good. There's a lot of authoritative bass that comes out of this tin. You wouldn't expect it to, but it carries quite well and it sounds really good in my backyard. And honestly, I don't think I actually would even need another one of these, even if I wanted one, to have plenty of sound back here. If I had one more on the other side of the patio, it might make things a little bit fuller on that side, but this really is quite enough. It covers a very large space, so I think one of these is gonna go a long way for you. 2 of these is gonna get most any, you know, kind of tract home backyard absolutely covered. Now, if you've got a expansive palatial kind of manor, maybe you'll need more, but I think for most people, this is gonna be plenty. All right, thank you so much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things, and I'll see you in the next video.